Hey guys, welcome back to Disco Elysium. We are going to carry on exactly where we left off. In a world that just keeps getting deeper, stranger, and more electronic music here. Okay, so I think we'd finished talking to these guys. I think.
This is hardcore.
Is it?
It's hardcore! Skibadee, skibadanger. I am the rearranger.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're just going to explore the rest of this island, and then it's probably going to be about time to go back to the restaurant slash hotel slash whatever the jazz. Right, so I don't think we need the old out with the old torch right now. Okay. I think we spoke to her again, but okay. Yeah, so let's see what else is on this here island. I can go back over this plank. Oh, there's something in the water. Oh, I have to go over there for it. Rear tyre of a motor carriage adorns these reeds. That's a Noland Vinct Sink, an unsuccessful model. So is there some kind of in-between bit we've missed here? Is it shit? The sewer? The light vanishes inside the concrete slip. The structure goes deep under the earth. Kim, any idea what's down there? No idea. He takes his glasses off to polish. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. Think we might find Ruby down there? We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revocol's sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. He puts his glasses back on. In conclusion, she could be under any building, but not in there. He looks into the slit and sighs. I hope not. Yell ho into the slit. There's no echo and no answer. What's in there? Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer? Okay. Still wondering how we get onto the top of this building here. Maybe that's something for later. Maybe we can find a key or a ladder or something. Mazout. Okay, so this is the only way across here. So I think we've explored, yeah, this side of the, let's bring the map up actually, which we do by going to here, no, here, I forget how to bring, there we go, yeah. So, that island in the middle there, which I don't know how we're going to get to that. Maybe through there that we couldn't get into. Okay. So yeah, it looks like we've explored most of this island. It's not quite late enough to be retiring for the day, but let's see what else we can find. I'm pretty sure we missed some stuff on the way over. Wait, take a longer look at yourself and how you're reflected in that slick chemical rainbow. What do you see? Metaphor, it's always a metaphor. Some kind of metaphor for me? This is more important than you. That's the blood of industry you see before you, the runoff from Coal City, further down the coast. The engines of fortune once roared here, great wealth poured into Revocol, the Delta. As this smoke, waste, sickness, life, what happened? The engine stopped. The West Revocolian industry base was dismantled after the war. Now extinguished coke furnaces dot the landscape, a landscape despoiled by industry. Filth, this needs environmental action now. Okay. Yes, fortune left you too, leaving only pharmaceuticals and a subpar service-based industry. Okay. So, there's be some more traps, I guess. Wait, so does this... Yeah, this leads back to where we were. Okay. Sorry, just while I get my bearings here. People getting frustrated. You already been that way. Okay. What do we have here? Oh, right, yeah, I know where we are. Back in the little... Well, it's almost like a shanty town, isn't it? There's something different here now. Some smoke there. It's locked tight. Can't see in the house from this angle. So do you hear the cosy sound of some kind of heater sputtering? Do we need a flashlight out? No.
Aye, officer.
A woman in a raincoat stands on the quay, considering an overturned boat. A sword and scabbard hangs from her hip.
Anything I can help you with?
It depends, where are we exactly?
A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium.
Why?
The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place.
I have questions. The first is, what's your name?
The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I had time for questions, and that was actually the second one.
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts. Nice sword. Does it come with a story? Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. She smiles at her own joke. It's to intimidate folks mostly. It is imposing. It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy, just for intimidation. Why do you need intimidation tactics? From time to time people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day I caught the eyes of many men, and believe me, she adds, tittering, men need a lesson in manners from time to time. So where are all the men now? Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned, others were more thick-headed. She looks down, and one of them I ended up marrying. Where's your husband now? Gone. Gone where? To the waves. Her eyes stop in yours. The sea took him. It was a long time ago. Oh, say no more. He didn't respect the sea. Went out there drunk like a skunk, and sure enough one day the boat was found floating empty. The bloated corpse turned up 2 weeks later. Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles. Healthy to let go and move on. Oh, time really is the best cure for sorrow, isn't it? Us working folk don't have the luxury to bed sick with melancholy. She crosses her arms. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and went on. She glances at the village where 2 little kids are playing with what looks like rocks. didn't really change that much for me and the kids. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another better drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action. Is that your boat? Sure is. The sun, I call her. Coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue. Say nothing. She looks at the boat dripping with slush and nods proudly. And what do you do around here? Like I said, fish, mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. Right now I'm tarring a little skiff. What else? I sell the fish to people in the Delta to serve at their fancy restaurants. Authentic insular Indian cuisine. Is that enough to make a living? Sometimes I also walk the beach to see what the sea is giving up. The sea is full of surprises. Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hating on it. Interesting. What have you found? Wood, pieces of glass. Every once in a while we see dead bodies, human, animal, fish, other odd sea creatures. A mine washed ashore once. A mine? She looks at the beach and continues. Bottles, drugs also, lost cargo in general, but most of the time it's just wood and glass. Alright, major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely. Need someone to know about the human bodies. A mine, the Elysium could use a mine. Where is it? Drugs, I need info on this major narc. Point to yourself. This looks bad, why don't you leave? Okay, enough of that. I need to know about those human bodies. Well, you're barking under the wrong tree then, officer. She shakes her head. I've no interest in floaters. Seen enough of them in my life already. A very unattractive bunch. You need to go on a date with another drunk. Okay. I'm looking for someone. Maybe you can help. Let's see. She tilts her head over ever so slightly. Who are you looking for? I'm looking for a suspect who might have stayed in this neighbourhood. Okay. When did this person stay here? Very recently, over the past few days. She might have arrived here on Friday. Oh, she looks slightly disappointed. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. The weather's been good for fishing, so I usually start at 4 in the morning. Really? Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there again. Sorry I couldn't help you out. A faint smile runs across her face. Maybe I can help you find someone else. That's it, I'm not looking for anyone else right now. Well, how can I assist you? I'm looking for someone else, actually. Oh, who? Ah, okay. Yeah, we're not going to try that. 3%, I don't think it's worth it. Alright, seeing you. Oh, cavalry boots, eh? Although the light from the flashlight is pretty cool. Oops. Who have we here?
I'll just keep the cordially in the channel if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier.
Aha.
Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course, jetty. I prefer a good jetty to appear any day. Jetty.
Oh, no. Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Oh, Jetty, oh, Jetty. It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now. So I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That, and she's also keeping an eye on you. Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the cordially red, like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
White, quite white. So how do you like it here?
How do I like it?
She casts a gaze toward the village, slush melting on the cinder blocks construction work left half finished 10 years ago. Water drips down eaves of eternity. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name. All the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
Yes.
I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard, a sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
Alright, politics time, let's react. I don't think it's all her fault. You're in no danger. Try not to be scared. This is just how the real city looks. Place is doomed either way. Say nothing. If you can't think of anything good to say, say nothing. She could easily just... She leans against the railing, looking up at the grey sky. I told you how they discovered this place. The wind picks up, a raincoat flaps in the gust. This fishing village? No, the insular Indian Iola. No, you haven't told me how they found it. Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate around 45% west of the is around 45% west of the river. The irony of stuff in that line. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty. Say nothing. It's a pity. Most of these people will never know what this place means, this island of matter, or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you that one day. She corrects the scarf around her neck. For now, how can I assist you in this new location? Tell me now, we have time. Do we? He glances at his watch. It doesn't look like he does. I hear you singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not want to delay you. Maybe there is something else I can assist you with while you're in hot pursuit. Found my badge, by the way. By love, you did. She inspects the piece of blue plastic, her eyes scanning from left to right, fast, observantly, like an electronic printer. She's memorising your badge number. She hands it back to you. Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant Double Euphrates de Bois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious. Seaweed drips from the badge in your hand. It smells of fish. What can I help you with? Got some more questions about reality. What are you? What I am not is a basic term of reality, she smiles. Maybe a way to get her speaking about herself at some later juncture. What times are these? These are unimportant times, detective. She puts her finger to her lips, then points at you. You and I were born after the dust has settled. 1,000th of a second too late. Too late for what? For the big time, her eyes light up. For the big time, her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. The smile of a predator, no doubt what she's got in mind. Got a predator streak. All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth. What's the big time? The revolution, she says. Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about? It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, a species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. When was this kerfuffle? The turn of the century revolution? She smiles mischievously. Don't answer it, it's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Grad Iola, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved. Who started it? It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zareth, particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. The Marzov came along and overthrew the government. What did the Zareth do? It made people overthrow the governments. No way. Indeed, Zareth is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark. Where did it spread from there? From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and a coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end. What came next? Why, you and I, officer. She spreads her arms, raincoat flapping in the wind. Our lives in the zone of control. So what happened to the rest of the world? Modernity. They developed the marvels of inter-iolary communication, telematic milius, radiation, coloured plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade. Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years? Time flies. What have we been doing all that time? The 20s saw a decade of urban war. West of the river levelled offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell. And after that? The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven. With the international community's blessing, for the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. That's when they discovered disco. Yes, and quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Iola-wide hangover, you might say. So here we are, she curtsies. Welcome to reality, baby. For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side. Which side was the Wild Pines Group on? They picked the winning side. That's why they're here and others are not. They chose wisely. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom. You would have sided with the king? I would have sided with the cannons. You'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too, she thinks. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Inder tribes got it wrong. Feld, Capri, Tricentennial, so I suppose I would have been in good company. What would you have done differently? Good question, she cranes her neck. What would you have done differently? I asked you. Who are you in all this? And I asked you, past list detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you? Here's some wisdom. Say the death thing. I would have sought a medical solution. I would have killed more, 400 million if that's what it took. I would have positioned myself very precisely. I would have made it out with the mineral rights. Medical solution. So a quarter of humanity, she calculates, simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology of 50 years ago? Okay, maybe it's impossible. What happened had to happen and always will. Always, she nods. That's the can't-do attitude and truly defines late modernity. You may prove a modern man yet. Lieutenant puts down his notes for a moment. Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCF. She turns to him. What is your official position, Lieutenant? My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir. Whew. Understandable, she nods. That's enough about the times. They are what they are, who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know? No. Okay, yeah. I can only do the what is reality stuff for so long. Seems like it's an endless rabbit hole of things that we kind of already know. We're kind of robbing someone's grave if we do this. Swan's Kingdom of Conscience. Yeah, we've been in all these places. Is there somewhere we could go? Yeah. Has anything changed on this beach? I would like to know. Has the tide gone out? Or anything of that? Okay, nature. We're still a country mile away from being at the right time to call it a day. Ooh, more fish trap. Oh, monster trap, whatever it is. It takes you a moment, but finally you spot the last of Morel's traps. This one's partially obscured by the reeds. Look around. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. Some tufts have been crushed. Snow covers the broken stalks like a shroud. In the east, the city centre hums to you. A constant distant song, louder on this part of the coast. Neater somehow, and there's that cold again, always the cold. Reach for the trap. Trap feels light and silent. As you pick it up, something is different here. Look closer. No locusts. No phasmid either, but still. It's empty. The voice echoes on the coast, carried by a gust of cold wind. Look closer still. The lieutenant studies the trap with you. Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster though, unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap. The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others, like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground. Do you get the feeling that someone or something may have messed with the trap? He purses his lips. Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I am not. Yeah, right, but I still need to tell the cryptozoologist about this. Okay, but after that we get back to our own assignments. We've done a thorough survey of the coast now. Just running around is no longer useful. Cold gust of air dries your sweaty face and you look to the dark, shallow shadow the felled building in the distance drawing you to it. What a strange sensation. Once this is done, should you ask the wind again? Okay, I'm just gonna check. And I think that's everything on this island searched. We can't get behind there, can we? Okay. So this has opened up a whole new can of worms. I wonder if things are going to be different now we get back. We're going to... Hopefully the cryptozoologist folks are going to still be in the... I'm going to be back in the cafe, and that's going to have some new dialogue for us. Let's just get into our inventory here. Look at those items. Postcard. Blue medicinal spirit. Oh, the taxidermy we need to give to... what's his name at the bar? Photo of a happy couple. Another postcard. Banged up fuel canister. Green 8 pen. I feel like that might be used for something at some point. And we'll keep the pen. I'm sure there's a dialogue option related to the pen, and it might have helped us out earlier as well. Lieutenant's handkerchief. I don't want to give away, sell Kitsuragi's handkerchief. You can sell most of the other stuff there. What would Kitsuragi think of us?
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
I have something else to sell. Okay, so... yeah, get rid of the postcards. Another postcard. Photo of a happy couple. Blue medicinal spirit. Another postcard. Okay, it's cool. Doing alright for money these days. Okay. I wonder, I don't want to sell the photo, but I wonder what it does if we show him it. Oh, no, I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale. Do you know what the tattoos mean? He frowns. Aphotic paths, counter-radiance networks, anti-magnetism. It's darkness, that's all I know. Tell me something lighter. You have absolutely no idea what athletic paths are, but the tattoos on the man are not that. Okay, cool. Another time perhaps, yep. Crazy spaced out seller of, or peddler of goods. Autosave, you say? Interesting. That means something has changed. Something going to be very different. Just before we go back in there, I want to see if Kuno's got anything new to say. Oh.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad. Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything.
Lol. Okay. Someone mentioned to me maybe this Kuno's friend has different dialogue from here.
Pretty close to me. Looks like it's time for me to go, Kuno. Pig's come to take me in.
I just want to ask you some questions.
I'm going away for a long, long time, Kuno. Going away for life.
Life.
What's going on there? Fuck are you trying to pull, pig?
Child, converse with me. You there, behind the fence. Okay, yeah.
Murder was the case. Was the case they gave me.
What? She has almost vanished behind the fence. Only the top of her hat remains.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
What are those strange words you use, girl?
I come from the woods, Kutavitu. You don't want to go there with me. You don't want to see what I've seen.
I can believe that.
Don't be traumatizing here. Get the fuck out of there.
Dear.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Yeah, I'm quite aware of your stance on squealing.
What is this kid shit? Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than squeal.
Get the fuck out of here, face. You got something? Talk to me.
Kuno. So it's a girl. Interesting.
I'll die before I squeal, pig. You don't want to fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
Flipping heck. This has been quite the conversation. A little bit one-sided, I must admit, but hey, you know, entertainment is as entertainment does. You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence. That seems to be a theme here. Okay. I'd almost forgotten how funny the interactions with Kuno are. Okay, let's wonder, does he have anything new to say after we've spoken to her?
Kuno's like Kuno's dad. Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything.
We've got no chance here, but let's try it. No, okay, what's going on is an ungovernable youth on your crime scene throwing around incendiary language, trying to push your buttons like you don't have enough on your plate. You feel a sudden surge of self-pity coming on. What would be the best thing to say to him? Maybe this? Take the pain, take the bad. The child is not grinning, it looks more like a wolf baring its teeth. Smelling weakness, she loves it. You hear that, see? Porco wants to talk about how he can't hack this shit. Porco wants to move in with Kuno. Don't let him move in with us, Kuno. You have no idea what to say now, you're just going to have to try and change the subject. Yeah, okay. We need more empathy. It's a part of life in general, isn't it? Needing more empathy. Okay. Imagine there's going to be some more convos in here for us now. What can we do? Do we still have the armor, or have we turned that in? Can we do something with that? The cuirass there. Did we also get, yeah, the gloves? What can we do with that stuff? Can we, if we go to the car, can we turn that in as evidence? Radio. Oh yeah, we need to report the body. One moment, you can hear her shuffling through some papers. Can you please describe the body, age, sex, cause of death? Unidentified middle-aged man. Height 170 to 175 centimeters. Dark hair, medium build. Looks like he slipped, fell through a hole in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him and traces of vomit on his shirt. Any signs of violence? No, it seems like it was an accident. No field autopsy necessary, she repeats. You can hear her quickly typing in the background. What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Yes, he was wearing boots, trousers and an old leather jacket with a bright blue lining. I found a library card from his pockets. Any information on the library card? It's from Central Jamrock Public Library. It belongs to someone named Billy Mijan. Good, you have a lead. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else? Assign it to someone else, Alice. We've got enough on our plate. Great, I'll give it to your colleagues. You don't have to worry about the case anymore. We'll send our officers to take away the body. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you? Did you find out more about the owner of the armoured boots? Not yet, but I was able to convince the database people to share private sector information. They promised to get back to me by tomorrow morning. Did you say you had any other questions? Okay. I found my badge, Jules. 10-4, sir. Glad to hear that. I'll write down that there's no need to issue a new one then. Over. Okay. We do have... Oh, we need to heal up. Let me do the things that meant that we died last time, because we didn't have any... I forgot about that. Not to save before I do, just in case. Because there was something that we did when we ran his hand over the... what was it? Run your fingers over one of the steering levers. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm. Tap on the fuel preheater gauge. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. Soon the large orange sector indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labelled heat. There's no use pressing the heat button, he says, jingles his keys. It won't start without the ignition key. Translation, we're not going anywhere right now. Okay, I wonder what it was then that sparked us to die last time when we inspected the car near the start of the game. Okay. Okay.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
I was just on my way while I was working the case. Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. She hands you a thin ribbon held together by a silver birch skull. It's a tie, Mesk in origin. The pin is an antique, quite special. The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes. Wow. You could ask her about this when you get time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important. Maybe you could convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids. Yeah, let's try it. There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask. Hey Lena, I'd like to hear about some of the cryptids you've studied. Could you just tell me about a couple of them? Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too. Lieutenant throws you one of his looks. One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. Okay, Kim, just one little cryptid, promise. He nods and assumes a waiting posture. Ooh, tough choice there. Is this bird a cryptid? Biggest, tiniest, most dangerous. Got a cryptid on the pen you gave me. Are there any invisible cryptids? What an interesting question. As the answer is yes, there are. Of course, all fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them. You're right, Kim, it's childish, but I need to know. Shush, Kim, she's going to tell me about yeah. It's the Koldumama Dakwa. The woman corrects her glasses. The name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The Koldumama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. Koldumama Dakwa can also be translated as a whisper light and low. A whisper light and low. Her eyes light up behind the glasses. Yes, that's another translation. They're both quite lovely, aren't they? Although the lower part is a little ironic. The Koldumama Dakwa makes, or rather is, such a high-pitched sound that other animals, including humans, can't hear it. It could be everywhere all of the time and we wouldn't know. Lieutenant looks at her skeptically. Fine old bite. How can an animal be a sound? Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory. What evidence is there? Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagi ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside of the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the E mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. Songbirds. The scientists soon discovered that they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls. They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Koldumama Dakwa, after the Pericarnassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent. Wow. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds, even though they couldn't see them. They could distinguish amongst individual birds and, she smiles, even began to name some of them. Name them. Sequester, Time, Jusquim. She nods. Those are some of the Mamadakua they followed individually. Interesting. Is this bird a cryptid? No, her eyes narrow mysteriously. It's the cryptid. Wow, the cryptid. Oh yes, the small silvery skull shines between your fingers. Its beak sharp. Okay. What is this bird? The eight-eyed teraton, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago. Some even doubted the fossils were real. A mutation, they said, until... Mutation, the man scoffs. All of evolution is a mutation, until it was cited by renowned Gotwaldian explorer and naturalist U. Platen Kalk in 21. This renown seems a bit dubious. Your own catalogue comes up completely empty, but of course, you're not all-knowing. Okay, now let's back up a notch. Of course, sweetie, do you want to hear about another phasmid? The Teraton is by many accounts the greatest, though. Okay, yeah, we'll keep Kitsuragi happy. Of course, dear. You never told me you've seen the phasmid. Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings. Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard. But darling, I didn't even get the size of it right. Measuring things is important. How did she get the size? You were a child, my dear. Really, it's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on, tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field. reflexively, the lieutenant readies his familiar notebook. Well, it was summer, she starts. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one, many times my height I remember, when all of a sudden... What happened? I looked up and one of the reeds moved, not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me, its body unfolded like some antique toy. She shakes her head. I'd never seen anything like it. The reeds turned into a creature. She had no fear, just surprise. I didn't know how this could happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved. Swaying, towering above me, she looks at you. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds. Did you follow it? I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there, knee-deep in mud, looking around me. Then what? I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. She chuckles. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years it was a story I'd told at parties when I wanted to impress boys, that sort of thing. She brushes her hair back. Of course, most people just took it as a strange amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly, but then I met Morrell. We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story and it's the most detailed report of the ancient Indian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds, she told me it hissed. It did, yes, like reeds in a gust of wind. Like reeds in a gust of wind. Interesting. It's just... yeah, I'm not convinced. The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white like marble, he breathes excitedly. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession. He looks at her with admiration, forgetting a wild smile on his face. Kim, what do you think of this? I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am. He closes his notes and gives her a simple smile. Yeah. You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just, she sighs, such an impossibly sunshiny day, so warm. Okay, that's all for now.
I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you as enthusiastically as my wife has, but I am grateful for your assistance, officer.
So I checked all the traps. Good, okay, he breaks his calm, and one of them was empty. Completely empty? The cryptozoologist's eyes grow wide. Yes, there was nothing in the trap, no locust, no phasmid. No locust, but no phasmid either. That's not ideal, but he rubs his chin. The old woman's face lights up. It just means the ancient Indian phasmid is even more clever than we thought. She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivated reasoning. You should correct them. Of course, the detective whispers to himself, more clever. Yes, the Phantasmodea picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news. I will have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure. His companion sighs. So another trip to the reeds? It's not very scientific to reason... Okay, yeah, it's not very scientific to reason backward from a conclusion you want to be true. I appreciate your concern, officer, but please leave this to the experts, unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture. Actually, no, his tone changes. Excuse me for getting emotional, this is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Revacol is yours. Heartfelt gratitude, but does it feel like closure? What really happened? Some kind of foul play might be afoot. Theft? Thank you, it's an honour, he says with a straight face, then turns to you. We should probably return to our main investigation here, but this has been refreshing, but... develop an alternative theory about the missing locust. Hurrah! Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed as though shaken. Most likely the hands of a young person, hands small enough to fit inside the trap too. You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno. I think a little hooligan called Kuno may have stolen the locust. A little hooligan? But what would a child want with bugs? A shadow of worry passes over the woman's face. Oh, my dear Morrell, you've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks. I'll talk to the little gremlin and see if anything comes up. Delinquent's my favourite. It doesn't sound like it's really his favourite. Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please let us know whatever you turn up. I have a feeling we're getting so close. The man turns to his companions. Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerain too, but no more field trips for me. After this is your last chance to talk to Gary. Really, Gary? The woman's voice is a little shaky suddenly. We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play suzerain too, but... Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave anything out in the open and they'll steal it, even if it's bugs. He looks at his tea. Morel, it's been fun, really, but I need a bath and I have deliveries to handle. When this tea is done, I gotta run. No need to apologise, Gary. You've been more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of suzerain today, though. We're gonna follow this through. Did you know Gary was hiding the armor? Hell no, I had no idea. I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty or disloyalty are not one of them. I don't know what got into him, officer. Thank you for letting him off easy. He won't forget it. We'll make sure he won't. Okay, I'll get going. Right. Feel like I've been talking for a while, so we'll probably leave this one here today. Next thing we're going to do is speak to this gentleman before he leaves, and then also we're going to go out and speak to Kuno and see if we can get to the bottom of that. But thanks very much for joining us again. I think that this has just been a bit of a bizarre one, hasn't it? Speaking to these folks, but we will crack on next time, and thanks for joining us. Alright, see you in a bit. Have a good one. Bye.